Welcome back. So let's have a look at what we actually created in the database. So you already have a running database actually, even though you didn't install anything. With Visual Studio, you get a database behind the scenes. And this is a local database, MySQL Local DB is the name of it. And this one was created as soon as I ran this the first time. It actually went in using the context and built the database for me. So if you can't find this, go under View and have a look at SQL Server Object Explorer. And this guy will pop up right here. Now let me try and extend that. Below it, there's a lot of different databases I worked with before. Let's have a look at this one. Person Application DLL Context, Person App Context, Person DLL Application Context. Notice it just uses the same name, right? So that's how it figures out how to call it. But there's actually something very weird here. When you expand this, I have one called dbo.people. dbo person status makes sense. dbo wishes makes sense, but people? Where did that come from? I really don't know. I tried to figure it out. I can't see why it says people because my class is person. Every file is person. I don't know why I decided that, but I decided to show you how you can fix that. So let me just shut this down right now. And I'm going to add in here, you can actually go in and add another notation type, a notation called table. And in that table, I'm just going to give it the name that I actually want it to be called. And it's going to be called persons. Don't call it something else. I want it to be called persons. I'll start it again, let's see what happens. Hopefully it'll wipe the database, remove it, and then it'll show here, instead of DBO people, it'll say DBO persons. So I'm restarting everything here, and notice that it won't create the database until I go to the person statuses, because that's the first time I'm actually using the context. So that's also a very important thing. So if I go to my person status controller, this is actually when I do the read here. That's the first time I use my DLL facade to use the manager and then read the context, right? And that's why it creates a new database at that point. And here we have my guys now. Let's see if it actually updated the database. I'll select it here, I'll do a refresh, and already now it actually did a refresh for me. And you'll see the tables are now called persons instead of people. So that was kind of awesome. And what's inside the persons? Well, there are some columns here, and notice here's the person status ID. It's a foreign key, it's an int value. Well, that was because we went in here and said on person, we want a foreign key to be called, to map to status, to be called person status ID. Pretty awesome, right? So that's kind of, you can map everything in the table just like you want it. So if you're strong at SQL, go in and make everything look just like you want. You can even add key right here saying this is a primary key, and you can put in any name. I just used the name ID. A lot of people want it to be called person ID instead of ID. You have the full control there of doing whatever you want in the database. Pretty awesome stuff. Let's have a look at what it actually put inside persons. So I'll look at the actual data in persons by pressing view data. And notice the status ID is actually 1. So let's have a look at the person statuses data and see if what I put in there. Here we have 1, 2, and 3. So right now we're using 1. That means of course that that's what we're populating. So let's try and show this in an actual view in the next lesson. See you next time.